Good evening, everybody. And EmEm, here we go. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another live edition of Journeys. I am Renee Jaworski. Of course, this is EmEm Farwell. And we have such a cool show today because we have Bexonic. She's a social media influencer. If you follow her on TikTok at Bexonic, and we have her handle when she comes up as well, you're going to learn so much about absolutely, you know, she's a disabled advocate. And this is so cool because I actually was in a disability rights clinic as a law student for 2 years. And I studied under some of the best. Yeah, I mean, I'm so passionate. And I was also, before I went to law school, I was an assistant, a personal care assistant to a woman with many different disabilities. And she was an advocate and an activist in the disability rights community. And she trained me. So I was trained by some of the best. And I watch Bexonic's stuff and I say, wow, her enthusiasm, her zest for life, and she educates.
No fear.
People. Yeah. And EmEm is the one, you know, she's the booker extraordinaire. I want EmEm to do a little bit of introduction because you're the one. Yeah, but you're the one that found Bexonic. And I want to know what you gravitated towards, or if you remember the first reel that you saw.
I do. So I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw her and she had her braces on. And I thought, oh, this is going to be her talking just about herself. But it wasn't. I mean, she does talk about what's going on with her, but she was advocating and talking about the marginalized, you know, and I loved that because, you know, I don't like to always have full conversations about myself either, right? Like I get my strength by helping and advocating and bringing awareness for other people as well and different issues in the world. So that was really, that was my green light. Like for me, I really like that about her.
Yeah, she's very eclectic, very interesting. I'm going to play a TikTok that she has pinned on her TikTok. And we want to encourage anyone who's watching to please go out there and follow her on TikTok. But this is a little bit of an introduction.
Amazing woman. Oh, I can't hear you, Renee.
I love how she chose upbeat music for that as well. You know, a lot of people, a lot of creators would have chosen something a little bit more, you know, somber. She's just so upbeat. She dances. She's incredible. So anyways, let's bring her up and learn some. All right. Bexonic, thank you for being here.
Hi.
Thank you for having me. You guys are brilliant. I'm nervous, but I got this.
You got this. It's
I got
it's
this.
it's way less vicious than TikTok can be.
Oh, it's been really it's actually been like a really big source of stress right now for the community is TikTok
Mm,
and the trolls and it's the
I tell
trolling.
everybody.
The trolling I think is the worst right now. Really, it's bad, and a lot of it comes from our people in our own community.
Yeah,
You know, I had
So
that's
can you talk
unfortunate.
a little bit about that? What are some of the issues? Why
oh,
would anyone troll somebody? First of all, anybody, but secondarily, someone like you who's so positive and you're educating the public. What kind of things do the trolls come up with that they're trying to create controversy? Because I
I
don't.
I think what it is I try to explain to everybody there's a difference between an advocate and a vlogger. So I think they want to stick me in the vlogging section, or they're trying to get me there, but I don't talk about things like you guys said. I don't talk about myself. I guess the word would be like I don't record every moment of my life, you know, anything that's sad or anything that's going on, like when I'm in the hospital and stuff, because it creates issues. And that's the issue behind all this trolling is that they think people want attention, and so they use the term munchies.
Munchies?
Yeah,
Can you?
from Munchausen. They
Oh,
that's what they say people have that are doing this.
Oh,
And the only reason why I get targeted is because I stand up for my community. Just like when the
mhm.
Kiwi Farms people went ahead and attacked a girl that had died. She was dead. She died. She was young. She's part of our community. She passed away the end of March, and they said so much vicious things about her, about her family, personal information they were giving out. Some of them claimed to be medical professionals, which is even worse, which is like just the worst to know that these are medical professionals that are happy that a girl passed away, but yet they don't believe it. That's kind of was their gist.
Okay, so they're not believing it. It's this idea that somehow people who are in the disability rights community are not actually
Disabled.
disabled
Right.
and
And
using that. Okay.
yeah, and I understand. I try to be understand. I try to look at both sides because both sides are have medical PTSD because this comes from the healthcare side and then the the community
right.
side. And a lot of those in the community that are upset or go ahead and accuse people of faking is because that they must have been a victim of someone who was doing that. They
Yeah.
themselves went to go see a doctor, and then all of a sudden they got the same treatment being dismissed and not validated. And for us women, hysteria or anxiety, things like that. And I think they hold that against other people who are sick. And they
I
don't.
also run into, like, in my circles, I run into, so the illness that I have is rare, but it's different for every single person.
Yes.
So I get the same thing. People that have exactly the same thing, and they're like, "Oh no, that doesn't happen.
Yep.
No, you don't need that." Right?
And
And
yeah. Go ahead.
no, go. I'm
Oh,
good. That's all. I
I,
just want to say I
I don't.
totally get what you're saying.
I don't understand it. I don't understand how these people spend hours. I mean, from what I know of people that have been their victims, is that, and from people who have gone onto these sites that they are part of, like the chronic illness fakers on Reddit, they had something on Kiwi Farms. I think they have a Discord. I'm not quite sure.
Hmm.
But one of my friends told me that what they do is they actually go ahead and study people's videos to see if they slip up and give out any personal info. And this is how it's working. So they will go ahead and go over people's videos, and they are vicious. They're ruthless. It doesn't matter what receipts you bring, because I always post everything. So like I post my prescriptions for my braces, my insurance acceptable, things like that, so people understand that this is what the process is. This is stuff that people go through that are disabled. You don't just get things handed out. We never get anything handed to us. So to fake it and think that you're just doing it for attention, I don't think anybody would want to be in this life that we live in, a chronic illness life. It's not the best life. It's not the easiest life, but it's just sad.
Well, you're very polite. I was watching earlier today one of your answers, one of your TikTok answers to a troll, and you were so, diplomatic, and it really moved me because my response would either be to just like, to go crazy. And you definitely stood your ground and you advocated for disabled people. You definitely did. You were very strong and firm and clear, but you were also compassionate in a way. And I thought that was interesting. Have you always been like that, or did you acquire that sense of diplomacy as you got older?
Well, to be honest, I'm hot-headed. So usually what I have to do, and it's cathartic to do this, is I will write everything I want to say that I'm angry, what's inside that I want to say. And then I stop and I read it. And then I go back and I look at the comment. And I don't know if it's necessarily just evolved, but I realized that there's got to be good in people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these people are hurting somehow. And this is their way of expressing how they feel. And so I look at things like that and I try to be kind, because I think we all have times when we are not our best selves. I'm one of those why I don't ever go on TikTok around the time of my month, because
Mm-hmm.
I can get, but I think it just comes from being empathetic and sympathetic, just
Yeah.
understanding that we have bad days. Everyone
Yeah.
has a bad day.
Right. Yeah, it's true. I try to look at the other side too when I'm talking to somebody. Like, what? There has to be a reason that they
Yep.
feel that way. Like, what happened? And we've all been medically gaslighted multiple times. So I can imagine there's some people who have watched a family member or whatever and not get answers and just believed the medical side. They didn't stay the course to where they eventually figure it out. I
I
don't
think
know. There's so many variables that could be creating that
yes.
kind of trouble, right?
I think a lot of it too is people that don't know how to advocate for themselves in front of them, in front of their doctor,
Huge.
because it is nerve wracking. I mean, I'm lucky
Huge.
when you have a diagnosis since birth, or just have issues since birth. It goes with you, so doctors don't question. This has been the same since she was born. So I've been lucky that way to have really good doctors, but I've seen really bad doctors. I've seen doctors dismiss people's feelings. And actually, no, I did have a doctor that dismissed something. If it was my gallbladder, didn't think anything was wrong because my gallbladder came back. My labs were normal. Ended up being I had 2 diseases in my gallbladder and a tumor. So yeah, so there's medical
So much.
gaslighting that went wrong on their part.
Can
Yeah,
you talk
it's
a
a
little
lot.
bit more about medical gaslighting and what that term means for people who are just hearing it for the first time, and how they can be on the lookout and how you can guard yourself against being falling prey to that?
Well, medical gaslighting is basically when you go to a doctor and you're bringing up how you feel, your concerns, and things like that, and they totally dismiss you. They make you feel like it's in your head. They make you feel guilty for showing up. They make you feel guilty that you're wasting their time. It's almost like you feel like that they're paying you and you just disappointed them. And so when you're gaslighted like that, you start not trusting doctors and not trusting people. And we've had issues with suicide because of medical gaslighting, or people that um, weren't diagnosed in time, even though they kept going to the doctor. They weren't diagnosed and they passed away of cancer. It's that
Mm-hmm.
type of thing, and it's a
Yeah.
real problem because it affects real people. This is people's lives. That's the thing. These are people's
Right.
lives that are being messed with. And one of the things is that they don't like I tell everybody in the community, and I always say this, you guys, you have to live with your health issues for the rest of your life. Doctors only see us for what, 10, 15 minutes, things like that. They don't have to live with what you're living with. So you can't leave without them helping you. That's their job. That's their job, to help
It's
you.
good advice.
It's hard. It can be scary if you're I'm a people pleaser. I know that feeling of like you don't want to disappoint. And
Right.
that's what being medical gaslit makes you feel like you just disappointed, and that you question yourself. You start questioning yourself. Am I
Yeah, I
really
think
sick?
we forget that we're paying them, like you just said. You feel
Yeah.
you get to start feeling like yeah. Advocacy is huge, and self advocacy is very huge. But I see a lot of people that get scared and they go in. We had a conversation about this not too long ago where we're quicker to go into McDonald's because they put ketchup on our burger that we didn't want. But our
Mhm.
doctor dismisses us and we're like, okay, and go home.
Yeah.
And cry later.
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense how we do that in our brains, but it's years and years and trial after trial and being told,
Well, right.
there's nothing wrong. Your tests are normal, da da da,
You're
whatever,
too
or they're a little
young.
abnormal, but we can't put it together. And
Well, that's the
yeah,
thing with doctors. I always love the excuse. I'll see people when they see me, they say, how can you do all the things you do? And I explain to them, it's simple. I'm still that girl as a child that was told, I'm going to have to learn to live with this. Suck it up,
right.
deal with it. So, this is not the end of the world. All these, I could never feel sick. I could never be sick because this was the way life is. And so, from like these, people that have been young, that have been trying to get answers, that have not been feeling well. Because, for instance, with Ehlers-Danlos, it usually is triggered by the age of 10. So, can you imagine these 10-year-olds going to their parents saying, something's wrong, this hurts. Parents dismiss them. Just take some
Growing
Tylenol.
pains. Who
Yep.
hasn't heard that as a
Yep, growing
child?
pains. And then the doctor, but then the parent brings their child to the doctor, and the doctor says to the parent, oh, it's just, like you said, growing pains, they'll be fine. So then what happens, that parent then continually dismisses that child. And I think that this is where this whole, it's like a vicious circle of gaslighting and dismissing, and a community of people that are beyond hurt.
Yeah. And it's also a lack of medical curiosity. You want to think of a doctor who would be interested in learning about, oh, wow, let's get this diagnosis. If something isn't matching up, it's not because they're hallucinating it. It's because I have to do my job and be interested and figure it out and take that extra time. And it's so rare to find a doctor like that.
It
It's
is.
good. You just have to speak up for yourself. And I know
Yeah.
it's hard, but there's also people that will help, right? Like, I mean, if you can't, then ask somebody to go with you because,
I always tell everybody,
right. Because one time I had a doctor that said, I'm meeting with the board. You were going to bring your case up to see if we can figure it out. And he said, it's such a puzzle. It's such a unique puzzle. We're really enjoying the exploration. And I was like,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Like, I mean, on the one hand, awesome, we're going to keep pushing. They're excited about trying to figure this
Mm-hmm.
out. And on the other hand, like, I'm living that
Yes.
puzzle you're talking about
Yeah.
every day. Like,
Is
it's
there
not
beds?
a game. It's not fun.
Yeah, there's no bedside
So,
manner really
yeah.
anymore either. That's
Well,
all out the window.
there's certain doctors that are extremely cocky, like
Mhm.
your cardiologists. They're very, 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 like the heart surgeons. Oh my lord, I've never seen egos that were so inflated in my life. And
Yeah.
and I went toe to toe with one, toe to toe, and I was not backing down.
Good for you. I love that.
And I
Bring it
won't.
on.
Nobody should. Nobody should. This is not.
shouldn't have to.
Everyone deserves the right for functional life. Everyone.
Yeah.
People treat us and treat any marginalized group as if this is something we asked to have, right? But we can't control what color, our skin color when we're born. We can't control our race. We can't control if we're healthy or not. These are things that are just given to us. And so we're trying to do the best we can, but people are seeing us differently. Like one guy asked, about these groups and stuff like that. And I explained to him, these groups weren't created by the people who are in them. They were created by the people who thought of them being different. So they had a group different from them. And that's where these groups started from. And everyone treats the people as if they're the bad people that are in these groups. And it's not. We wouldn't have these groups if people weren't so awful.
Support. Yeah,
right?
it's
And
very
hurt. Like
important.
a lot of times, if you dig deep, they're hurting really badly.
They are.
It doesn't excuse the behavior by
Oh
any
no,
means.
it doesn't.
It's just like a bully in school. 90% of the time, you go back into their home and they're being bullied daily, right? In their home by people that should love them. So it's like it doesn't excuse their behavior by any means.
But hurt
But if you
people hurt
dig deep
people.
enough,
Yeah.
yes, there you
Oh yeah,
go.
100%. They do. Like I told, like in one of my videos, I was talking about medical PTSD being on both sides. That's something that both sides have in common. It's a commonality that we could work together on, right? Because my community gets the medical PTSD from the gaslighting, right? The dismissal, especially like the ER stories that people have. But the medical side gets medical PTSD from the treatment of the patients. And I've also seen patients just berate nurses about things that have nothing to do with why they're at the office. Nothing. It's just they want to. And so I try to be understanding. Because I don't think anybody went into the medical profession to be a jerk.
Right.
I think that they went into that profession because
they get jaded over time, some of them,
but they probably saw a doctor. Maybe they saw a doctor, themselves that dismissed them, and they thought to themselves, "I'm not going to be like that." But guess what? They turned to that person.
Yep.
Right.
And a lot of it could be from, are there people that might be aggressive? Well, yeah, when you're desperate, and I try to explain this, when you're desperate, when there's something going wrong with you, something's not right. And everything seems to kind of fall apart in your life, and you're desperate for that help. To go there and have someone not even want to acknowledge your existence is soul crushing.
Right. And that's medical PTSD, right? What you're describing is when you have an extremely negative encounter with a medical professional and you're in a very vulnerable state. And instead of getting good care, you're being victimized.
Mm-hmm. There was an amazing creator that was talking about this nurse. They're nurses. And she was talking about, regardless if you think someone's faking, they're still sick.
Yeah,
because
right.
That's a mental health issue then, right? So why wouldn't you help them?
Exactly.
Help them?
Like anyone who would be malingering has problems. There's no person who does not have problems who would be acting that way. And I've always said that too. So they still would need care.
Yeah, they still need care. And does it I think what it is these people who are calling out people are faking. Yes, there is bad things. There's negative side to those who are faking and what causes for us. And so I understand for them, they're thinking that they're doing the community a service by trying to get these fakers, because it hurts us. It hurts our credibility with our doctors. Doctors nowadays are on TikTok. I tell everybody this all the time. They see us. They see us in the community, and they're watching us, and they're seeing our behaviors. And when they see negative behavior, when they see people dancing in the ER, but then crying the next second, but then dancing again, that was that, to them, if they're just there for pain pills and that's why they're dancing, things like that. So it's I have to talk about pain pills. That's actually probably one of the biggest things we get is we're pain pill seekers.
Okay. Yeah.
When you say community, can you explain to everybody what your definition of your community is?
The chronic illness and disabled community, a group of melting pot of amazing people from all walks of life. That's my community. This is like all my people, and there wouldn't be a thing I wouldn't do for them. I've reached out to people who have tried to troll me and had really good conversations with them, because I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm here to help my community. And if anybody says something or does something to my community, to my family, because that's what we are. no one ever realizes this, but being sick is lonely life. It's a lonely, lonely life because people only want to be around you when you're well.
Yeah.
But when you're sick, they leave. But then you find your family, right, on social media, and they understand when you aren't there. When you are not making videos, they understand. They'll reach out, make sure you're okay. But there's no pressure. They get it. And for us, that's incredibly like important. This is we need this. We need our community, our family of awesome people, and I have the world's worst memory, just so you guys know. my thoughts. I've got so the neuro. I've got ADHD so horrifically, just so you guys know. So if I get off topic, just wheel me back in because I can do
You're
that.
doing awesome.
But it's hard living with a mind that's unquiet. People don't get it. An unquiet mind it's not fun. It's
Yeah.
not fun. But yeah, so we have our community, and when your community turns on you, and that's what I think a lot of these people are feeling, that the community turned on them, and they're
It's
only hurting.
discouraging that. Go ahead.
Oh, and they're only what they're doing is they're trying to get to them before they get to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they're trying to protect themselves by going after these people before they go after them. It is, I mean, psychology is what I went to school for. I spent 12 years, and it's never lost on me the way the human mind works.
Yeah.
Of always trying to protect itself in one way or another. Just like when we suppress our thoughts, or suppress our memories on a lot of things like that. So yeah, so that's what we deal with.
Well, you're an amazing advocate, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I love that I found my family. I love that I can help people. And I love the fact that more people are getting mobility aids. And when they message me, thank you so much, thank you. It means everything to me because once again, we deserve a functional life. And how do we get functional life if we're constantly getting injured trying to have one? Is by AIDS.
Yeah, that it's you're talking about our brain and how it functions, and I always think to myself, the negativity that we see even online is such a small percentage to the positive, but where do our brains go and what do they focus on?
Well,
It's always the negative, it's always the troll, it's always that one comment. You could get 500 amazing reviews, and your brain will get stuck on that one comment that said you're overweight or you're faking or you're whatever the excuses or the
someone said I was too happy. Someone,
yeah, you're too happy. How
I'm
dare
too,
you?
too happy. I get the Forrest Gump, which is always
How
funny.
dare you?
I'm always like, I know, I've never heard that one before. I'm really, it's
You're
like,
too
come on,
happy.
people.
That's
But
awful. How dare you?
I know, how dare I be happy? But that's because we have something called inspiration porn, right? You heard about inspiration porn. And so people, when they see someone positive that's disabled or chronically ill, they see it as, no, you're making everybody else who has your same disease look bad because here you're happy and doing these things and they're not. And to me, I'm like, well, that's my personality. I can't be woe is me. I never have been woe is me. And on the days I feel good, I'm going to live life to the fullest. I have many days where I can't walk. So yeah, I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to show my community that it's possible to be able to do these things when you have the proper tools, proper things. And that's, I think a lot of people have reached out and said they're scared to death, and doctors say to us, we have to exercise, right? That's what they say to EDS. You have to exercise to build your muscle, but they give them nothing for security, nothing to help them do it, nothing to don't give advice, don't send us to PT if you're not gonna do something else that would help us achieve whatever the doctor wants us to achieve.
Right.
Whatever that is, it changes. So
Yeah, and you can have one doctor, like, okay, your cardiologist is like, we need to exercise, got to get walking, got to take care of that heart. And then your GI doctor's like, you're losing too much weight. We need to be careful how much
Mm-hmm.
we're exercising because we don't want to lose any more weight. And then
Yep.
your rheumatologist is like, all this inflammation, we need to really be trying to eat this. It's just
Mm-hmm.
this vicious storm, and to figure it all out
It's like being
is
it's like
really
being
hard.
a child between two parents who are getting divorced. That's what it feels
Yeah.
like,
It's
right?
a full
Yeah.
time job. Being ill is a full time job until you can
Mm-hmm.
learn to figure it out and balance it. When it
It
first hits you, it takes everything.
yes. Well, to navigate this world like that, being sick, talk about being exhausted already. Now you're fatigued because you have all this information for all these doctors of do this, but don't do that, but do that, but don't do that. But, it's like, okay, so yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, which one is it?
Right.
It's being pulled in these directions, trying to navigate it, trying to make sure that, you're showing each doctor that you're doing these things they ask, because once again, you're hoping they'll help you. I mean, what's the first thing? I'm going to actually go segue into the ER. What's the first thing we all say when we go to the ER? At least for me, the first thing I say is I am allergic to most pain pills. I just need the Tylenol form, the IV form of Tylenol and Benadryl, just so they take me seriously.
And the first thing I always say, and Renee knows this too, the first thing I always say is just don't even come to me until you've either spoken to my doctor or read my chart.
Oh, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so complex and they don't know. And so unless they actually go in and read the notes from the previous doctor or from my doctor, it's always the same thing. You get, like you said, I get treated
Like a
like a
pill
drug
seeker.
seeker, or and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, I don't even need pain meds. Like that's not, I don't even want them. It's not why I'm
Right.
here.
But
I need you to help me. Help
but
me.
they have that. These doctors have that idea. But how do they get these ideas? Why is this all perpetuating? Like I see how the decline happened between the community and the medical field, and it has to be with social media. When social media started, the decline between these two groups started because
Mm-hmm.
more people were on it. More sick people were on it. They
Yeah.
probably were doing things that weren't exactly what you should be doing. Like, don't show you going ER hopping. That's
Mm-hmm.
not okay to be doing that. Those are things that
Yeah.
hurt the community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, and it's
That's right.
and I love this community so much, and just knowing that what we do and what we say and how we act affects us, but it affects everybody. Everybody in this
Right.
community is going to be affected by one action of one person, because people already have these stereotypes of us. They already have these bias of us. So if we're doing exactly what they think we are on social media, yeah, it's going to keep going down, because we're essentially have kind of created our own issue with that too. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's innocent. Both sides are guilty. However, at the same time, we have to figure this out between the two, between
Yeah.
medical and between
Can
the
you run for president, please?
Yes.
no,
Thank you.
no, I don't. I actually, all I really want
I'm going
is
to start a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I just want people. I want people to feel okay about being not okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a lot of people feel guilty about not being okay, and I get that. I've got 4 kids. You know, my oldest two got the best of me. They got the best of me, and my youngest only knows me as being sick.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
So it's
It's hard.
it's hard.
Yeah. Can you talk us through that journey a little bit
Oh,
of your medical journey, just from when you became aware and how that evolved?
well, I was made aware as a child. I have a hole in my heart, and my heart, severe murmur, and which I have really bad arrhythmias. I have a heart monitor on right now because my it's a 30-day one, and then they're going to do an implantable one because my heart's just kind of acting up. But I was really sick as a child. I was in the hospital for the first year, but I remember first grade. That would be first grade. I passed out, and I got pneumonia really, really bad, and it weakened my heart, and I missed like 6 months of school. I couldn't even. So I knew that there was something wrong with my heart. But everything else, like my hypermobility, because my parents have the same disease I have.
Mm-hmm.
To them, they're telling they're told by the doctors that this is a gift for all of us, right? Being hypermobile is a gift. It's a gift in dance. It's a gift in gymnastics. It's a gift in this. So my parents didn't see that part as an issue until I hit 10. And I had my first official like memory of a dislocation. And that was my kneecap going to the back of my knee. That
Wow.
was in dance class. And I just remember telling my kids this. Imagine being 10 and you have an adult instructor, because I started dancing when I was 2. My mom put me in that because that's what the doctor said to do, right? But he was yelling at me to get up, get up, get up, get up. And I couldn't move my leg. I couldn't bend my leg. I couldn't straighten my leg. I couldn't do anything. And just yelling at me and telling me, I'm weak and I'm just being a baby about this whole thing. And it really wasn't that bad. But yet my knee was this big.
Wow.
And so my parents right away took me to the ER, and they said I dislocated my kneecap, was on crutches. And then from there, it declined. Like I was in bracing as a child, very young child, came out of it. They're only having nighttime braces for bracing all day, all night. And then becoming a preteen and a teen that last thing I want to do is look like this. So what I do, so the journey through that and why I am where I am with my health is I tried for so long to outrun, to outwork out, to be the strongest so that my disease wouldn't affect me. I tried so hard for so many years to stop what's happening, and I've only made it worse. I mean,
can I ask one quick question before you go back onto that? I'm just curious. Did you go back to that dance instructor?
Oh yeah, that guy. His name is Guy. I'm not going to say his last name, but his name is Guy, and he was horrific dance instructor. So the girls who weren't hypermobile, because hypermobility is joints and flexibility is muscle. That's the two difference. He would push on them and push on them till they could do, the splits. Or he was just an awful person. But he was well known and he had a great studio. And my dream at the time when I was little was to be on Broadway in Annie. That's just at the time. But it's just a very, very unsympathetic.
I was just curious because a lot of times, like we were just talking about it, our parents will put our, disregard. Oh, you can go back. You're fine. He knows now. What like.
No. My parents took me out from that.
Awesome.
Put me in a different studio.
Good.
And then I got an invite to be part of. And this is actually a couple of years ago, to be part of the dance theater in a certain city I'm near.
That's awesome.
A big city.
That's awesome.
The only thing is I have guilt. I can't be away from my kids.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel guilty about being sick. I feel guilty that there's times, my legs. I get partial paralysis, so my legs don't always work. And so I turn everything down if it means that it affects my kids.
Right.
Which
I understand.
I don't know how other parents who are sick feel, but that's how I feel. And just like my kids are off limits on TikTok as well. Those are things like I try to make sure that to reserve the privacy between my kids and I.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
It is, and usually I'm not on any type of thing at from the time that they get home until they go to bed, because there's times when I could hear them at the door, but they know mom's sick.
Yeah.
And hear the little knocks. Are you okay, Mom?
Yeah, that's heart-wrenching.
That's hard. And I'll tell you, it doesn't change. a whole lot when they get older, because my son's a grown man and he will still
Does he?
call me if I haven't answered him right away, or he'll come to
Mom's
my door because they live on the next door property, and he'll be, yeah. So
boys love their
it's
mamas.
almost like
Yeah, they do.
anyways, my
Yeah.
my precious baby boy, I call him. He hates it, but I don't think he really does. I might be fooling
He has
myself,
to
but
say that he hates it, but he inwardly loves it.
He
right,
does. Trust me. My son's my little prince.
Hmm.
yeah, I
I think
know,
that's so
right?
cute.
My little
But I mean,
prince.
they grow up with that, and like you said, the guilt.
Hmm.
But I don't. Can you tell me how you feel on this end of it? So my son's older now. Your kids are growing. I sometimes get my guilt will stem from feeling like they're more of the parent role, taking care of me instead of me, or they're in their mind they're
Right.
worried and thinking about having to take care of me when I want them to just go do their
Yeah.
thing and be a kid and have fun, and
I know that.
you
Oh,
know, even if I can't be there, like, go enjoy yourself, don't be.
but
I don't want them in the bed with me sick, you know,
yeah,
like I don't
exactly.
want
Hmm.
them. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I,
metaphorically, you know, I don't want them living in my illness.
well,
Or does that
that's
make sense?
something. My oldest graduates from high school. She graduates June 4th, and she got an art scholar. She's
Congratulations.
a phenomenal artist. My daughter, my oldest, but she's going to college, and I told her, you can't be. I don't want you going to any school near us. I don't want you to be here anymore, and not in the way you think. I told her. I said, you need to live your life.
Yeah,
You need to be
exactly.
in to grow up and find yourself outside of this house. It is so important. Live your life. Don't let anything that I'm going through, because I talk to my kids about it, because like my oldest said, when you say don't, when someone says don't worry about it, they're gonna worry and they're not
Yeah.
quite sure exactly what they're gonna
Yeah.
what they're worrying about. So I always try to be upfront when things come around with them. But yeah, I want my kids to live. Life is for living. I
Yeah.
still do things. I still kick butt. Mom's fine. Mom's got this. Mom will just sit. If I can't get things, I get frustrated. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
They're my kids. They're not my caretakers. And I try to tell that to my oldest,
Right.
too, because my 18-year-old is Isabel, and my 14-year-old is Joseph, and they are very protective. And anytime something, if I make a sound or I stop, a lot of times I have to stop and grab something, because my legs always feel like they're not about to fall off, because they're not getting enough oxygen.
Mm.
Mom, are you okay? You need something, Mom? And they'll run to me and say, no, I'm fine. I'm just trying to sit here for a moment and let something pass. But I
Mhm.
don't need you, kids. Live your. And it's hard because they feel guilty about being away from us.
Yeah.
Right.
I know, so I bet you that'd be, yeah. And I, I'm not trying. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to not do the same thing my mom did to me, which was make me feel guilty about not being near her.
Right.
Yeah. Totally.
That's
You know,
important.
I'm
Um,
absorbing that right now.
yeah, me too.
I
There's
might.
well, I always call it, the burden of being the good daughter, which would be me, my sister and I.
Mhm.
I took the brunt of all my mom's insecurities and guilt, and I had to take that on as at the age of 16, 15,
Wow.
16. So I was afraid to live life. I mean, I've lived all over the world, and I never enjoyed it because I was so afraid that I was disappointing my mom because I
Yeah.
wasn't there. I don't want my kids to live that life. I
Hmm.
don't want my kids to feel that way. I can't even, it sounds crazy, but I can't, like, when I'm going somewhere with my kids, I tell my mom as if I owe her an explanation for what I'm doing with my kids.
Oh, yeah, it's hard.
Hmm.
And my mom, I get it. They care. And they always want to make sure I'm okay. And to my mom, that she justifies it as, you know, she just wants to make sure I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. You know, my dad, I think my mom and dad have a hard time. They have guilt because they know they pass a lot of this onto me.
Right.
And out of the siblings, I seem to be the one that became the lemon. The lemon. So I make
That's
lemonade.
hard. That's hard.
I'm the lemon
The
of the
problem
family.
is like you're here now and you have it. So, like
Like
you
Yeah.
said, you
I
gotta
tell my
live.
mom,
You gotta do.
yeah. I said I tell them every day, and I have a text. I wish I could show it where my mom, you know, was talking about my dad was crying again because you know I have like some new things that came up with my heart. That's whatever, and my dad was crying, and I said, "Well, don't cry for me. Why are you guys crying?" I said, "I'm happy you chose to have me.
Mm,
You chose to have me. You could have easily not have had me, but you chose me." And you loved me. And don't be sad for me. I'm not sad. I'm not sad about
yeah.
who I am or what's going on in my life. I'm not sad. I'm angry at times, but I'm not sad about it. I just
Right.
sometimes get angry because you see so many bad people that seem to not have any issues, right? They have no
Yeah.
afflictions and they're living life and they're doing horrific things. And then here I am.
Trying to do the
And
best you can. Yeah.
thinking to myself, well, I'm a
I think
good
that's
person.
normal.
I'm a good person. And why me? And, you know, there's times we ask, like, why me? Why did I get stuck with this?
Mm.
But then
Wow.
I step out of that and realize, you know what? This is my life, and I'm going to live it and kick butt while I'm doing it.
That's right. I love that.
Always, forever. And
I love that.
I think we all need. I think we all need a little hope, because without hope, if we no longer have hope, we have
Yeah.
nothing.
So
Right?
I just want to ask about how how did the pandemic impact you
Oh,
and your advocacy and being on? I don't know when you first started on TikTok. Was it?
2020.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I started in 2020. I actually didn't start out as an advocate. Um, because this I'm used to. I don't see this.
Right. It's your norm.
But when I'm on, people saw that they couldn't get past how I look, and
Right.
then I realized, you know what, I'm gonna have to talk about it, and then I talked about it because you know I just explained what I have, and but this is not but I'm. It kind of grew from there. It kind of grew from there because all of a sudden I had all these people that I never knew existed that are part of my
Right.
community. And so it kind of stemmed from that. And they know, like, people, you can ask anybody, who would they go to if they were in trouble? They need someone to have their back, and they'll see. And I don't mean this like in an egotistical way, but they'll say me because I show up. I
Yeah.
show
That's
up.
important. Right.
I show up, and I will show up
That's important.
day in and day out for this community because I don't want to lose my family.
Yeah. The pandemic really shifted a lot of things for the disability and the disabled community in general,
How about
and
parking
anybody.
spots? It shifted our parking spots. It made people more
Everything.
to be honest. It was very dangerous time for those of us who were
Yeah.
sick. People don't realize, like in Italy, when they had to make decisions on who they were going to save and who they were going to send home. That hits us because there was a
Hmm.
mom same age as I am, um, and they kept her, right, but they would have sent me home. And to know that you're that replaceable.
Disposable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I
disposable.
am.
Yes.
It drove me nuts hearing people say, "Oh, it's just nature's way of thinning the herd." I'm the herd. I'm the one being thinned. I'm the one going. Like when the zombies attack, I'm getting thrown as bait, right? Like
For real. Well, that's the thing. I
it's
mean, I, did you have people walk up to you and blame you for the pandemic?
oh, of course, yeah.
I'm thinking,
Yeah, we all have
You
to
look
wear
around
masks
like,
because of you. Oh, we have to be isolated because of people like
yeah.
you.
And I laugh because as far as like, you know, like having wear masks and gloves and all that, I was doing that prior to COVID. I hate the stomach flu, and when I get any type of illness, it can take me out really fast and take me away from my kids. So yeah, so I'm always, but I find it funny that not funny. I find it sad that people um are just okay with hurting somebody else's health. Like they don't think of doing the right thing and the good thing. They instead choose to do the negative thing and then blame and then making fun of you for doing the right thing. So you're trying to do your civic duty, right? You don't want to spread any more illness. You don't want to get sick. We want to keep our country strong. But then you get, you know how, I mean, you probably get it, you know, people making fun of you, or they, you know, make you like a pariah, like, you know, like, oh God, why are you doing that? But
It
Lord,
still happens because
yeah.
I wear a mask when I'm out and about in crowds of people where I cannot maintain 6 feet or it's a closed area. I still wear my mask. And people, yeah.
Or look
It's
at the new variant that's out, the FE1.
yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
affecting kids. I
I
mean,
can't.
it's in Brazil. It's in Brazil, and kids are dropping like
I
flies.
have a real problem with like lack of respect from people. So, and this can cover everything. Like, I don't care if you like that person, you can be respectful. I don't care if you don't want to wear a mask, you can be respectful that that person needs you to wear a mask because you could hurt them. If you don't want, it goes into the LGBTQ, whatever the community is. If it's not your cup of tea, so
Yes,
be it. Be a bigoted ass if you
right.
want to,
Well,
but be
people,
respectful in my
right.
presence because
Well,
if you don't, I'm going to call you out on it.
what cracks me up is, and I've said this time and time again, you guys are upset about something that no one invited you to, that, you know, you're showing up at things that no one forced you to be. No one's forcing you to do anything. You are choosing to be mad. You are choosing to do these things, but yet you're the victim and everybody else is the enemy. And I agree with you. I've reached my limit, and now it's getting scarier. It's very scary for us. This community, people have to realize we can't get green cards or anything else. Being disabled, you can't. There's no escape. There's no escape. We can't just go off
No.
and
And
live
I've
somewhere.
had, it's like, okay, so you have issues with your heart, and I have issues with my lungs. So
Oh,
I will never, ever be on a waiting list for a transplant
same.
because of all the rest of my issues,
If
right?
people,
Like
yep,
it's just, and I don't want to be because I would rather have it go to a younger person that's healthy
yep,
and strong and is going to live a full life. But the point is, people don't understand that
they
these are
don't.
the things you hear. This is the
Right.
stuff your doctor tells you when you go to appointments. Like this could be a possibility, but
Oh, I remember.
you're
I
never
had,
going to have
yeah.
it, right?
People don't understand that you can be too sick to receive transplants. I got that talk when it came to my kidneys and a liver. I have hyperoxaluria type 1, and it's actually a liver disease. My liver doesn't create the enzyme that's needed to break down oxalate. So the
Right.
oxalate binds with calcium, and I have calcium oxalate stones that have damaged my kidneys. I've had kidney stones since I was a kid. My kidneys are so shot, and they had to have that talk where, unless it's family or someone willing to donate, I'm not a viable option, and it will go to some. You know, they rather things go to somebody who have a longer chance of living, who won't have the complications of rejection or internal bleeding or things like that. And
Conversations healthy people don't have to have.
and they don't have to sit there and have their kids in the back of their mind thinking, and what are you saying to me, doctor? Like, how are you saying that I'm not going to live a long life? Like, why are you telling me this? But I know, and I'm okay with it. I'm going to fight it.
That's it, right? Right there.
Well,
That's it. And that's why I tell people, they're like, how do you do it?
What?
I don't have a choice, and I'm not going to lay down. Have you ever known me to lay
No.
down for anything? Like, I am going to fight tooth and nail till the last second, and I'll probably outlive all of you. That's
It's
my
right.
goal.
That's
No, I'm just
my
kidding.
grandma was supposed to be dead at the age of 2, and she outlived like 3 or 4 of her
There you
husbands.
go.
All right, so
There you go.
out of spite kept her going. But your lung issues, if you don't mind me asking, is it like a hypoxia or is it a?
No, I'll DM you later about my I have a
It's like,
multitude of things
it's
going
like, oh,
on.
I know. It's like when people ask. I love it when people say, well, what's your disability? And I said, do you mean like what caused my disability? Do you have time? Grab a paper and pen, because it's a long list, because we have
Yeah.
comorbidities.
It's like diagnose. I was just gonna say the list of diagnosis alone is
It is, and then
secondary. It's like, does it end? Am I done now?
yeah. Well, that's the thing, and then this is where now we got the faker. See how it revolves back, and then people will think, oh, will say, well, you're
Right.
just want attention. You don't have all of these things, and
It's hard.
and it's hard. But it's like you just shake your head, thinking, you know what? Can I just get one day of a break from jerks, from assholes, if I can say it? One day, just one day, be great. But
Yeah, it is what it is. I
it
mean,
is.
we can't change what's in front of us. Oh, all we can do is ride the waves. I mean, like you
Lead by
said, you can't
example.
just. I guess you can just lay down. People do it. They just, okay, I'm done, and that's their existence. But then I always think this is my one go around. Like, I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy every second of it. I want to learn and grow
That's
and
right.
change and
Yeah.
be and
Well, I
learn
always
about other people and leave a legacy. And
exactly. Well, I always tell everybody, regardless of what people believe in, I want to. If I believe that there's got to be something out there that, I mean, we can't just come
yeah,
from nothing, right? So if I have to meet my maker, I want, and they ask me what I do with my life that I was given. I lived it. I lived my life. I lived my life and ran it to the ground, having a good time doing it.
Yeah.
So the gift I was given of life, I did my best.
Absolutely. And I love when you were talking about your kids and how you want them to go off and have full lives and not just be worried about you all the time. There are so many caretakers who are adults and have a family member or a friend. What is your advice for adult caretakers about empathy versus compassion and about those sort of healthy boundaries where they're putting their oxygen mask on first, where they're remembering to take care of themselves as well? I know that's a really important issue. And hearing from someone like yourself, I think, would carry a lot of impact. A lot of caretakers suffer a lot of guilt if they go outside or if they go out with a friend. What would you say to them?
Well, my mom's currently going through that with my dad, and I, and what she does, she puts her health in like she puts her health on the back burner, like you said, the guilt. Best thing I think I can say is, if you're not here, who's gonna take care of that person? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to take care of yourself. Don't feel guilty. People, you just, everyone deserves a way of stress relief. They want to go out with their friends. That's okay. It's you're not a horrible person because you chose to have a night out with the girls or the boys or whomever. It's healthy. It's needed for your own mental sanity. You need to do these things, because if you don't, then you start having resentment towards the person you're helping.
Right. Yeah.
And you don't want that. That's the last thing anybody wants. So the best thing to do is take a deep breath and be okay with the fact that it's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to take some time away.
Yeah. And I know that everybody is different, but when I've been compromised and I've been very sick, I mean, I used to have a seizure disorder and I have an autoimmune thing. Actually, when I'm incapacitated and I can't go out, the people closest to me, seeing them thrive and do cool things, I get to like vicariously live that.
Yes.
It's almost like it elevates me. So I know that there are some people who maybe get jealous or feel left behind, but for me, I'm like, go go. And then, I get to, like, it's in my mind, it's like I'm getting a part of that, and I get to leave. And so I would also say that too. I know everybody's different, but that's
Well,
been my
no,
personal
And
experience.
it's the same with mental health. I'm always saying when I'm feeling down and low and having a no energy blah day, that is when
Mhm.
I am like making other people laugh. I'm
yep,
online, I'm doing stuff because
Mhm.
I feed off those smiles of other people
yep,
because I can't find mine today.
yes, exactly. It's the
So it's
energy.
fuel for me.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the
And
energy
it's
of
a
other people.
reminder that it's a good feeling and you
Well,
want that feeling.
it's like when you hear a song come on the radio, right? A song that reminds you of something good, and it triggers this happiness response, right? It's the
Yeah.
same thing. Like I get that. I can get out of my bad moods and things like that through music or through seeing videos of like things that I follow on TikTok of all these amazing disabled and chronically ill creators that are just brilliant at what they do, and just I mean they make you laugh. They find ways of, we have to have humor
Right.
in this life. Like if we don't laugh
Mhm.
just
about
joy in
things,
general.
but we're not a joke at the same
Mhm.
time. Like we're not making a
Right.
joke of ourselves for the laugh of others. Like we're not, we're having this humor to help us get through what we have to deal with daily.
Right. Mhm.
Able-bodied people, though, using us differently. They use us as a source of entertainment, and I think our humor is not there. Is not for their entertainment. It's for us to get through it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're really brave to be out there on social media. I mean, you're putting yourself out there for your community, like you said. How did you make that decision to go all in? I mean, you have so many followers. How did you grow that channel emotionally? I mean, how did you have to show up no matter how you're feeling for your audience. And how do you do that?
Well, I make a lot of drafts for the days I don't feel good. But I think the
Mm,
moment I realized, I've got a pretty vocal person, and I'm
mhm,
very animated. But it was when I got a direct message from a little zebra, which is where zebras are rare
right.
illness. EDS is a zebra. I always
Yeah.
tell EDSers we don't own the zebra. It's for rare diseases.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
had a little zebra say to me, "Thank you for not being, showing that it's cool to look the way you do, and it's
Mhm.
cool, and just it was, and to not make them feel lonely,
Right.
that they're validated, and because a lot of kids, man, parents, don't dismiss your babies, don't dismiss your children, because they are people too. They have feelings, and when we dismiss them, we're telling them that their feelings, emotions don't exist, like at all. So,
We're basically medically gaslighting them.
and we 100%
Our
we are,
own children, right?
but that's what it was. It took this little zebra and her story, and I thought to myself, yeah, I'm just gonna stick with this. And the way my channel grew was I worked hard for that. To be honest, I worked very hard. A lot of people always want to see me dancing. There's I'm the disabled creator that dances, but they don't realize the impact it has on me. They never see the behind the scenes. So like now
Yeah,
I'm
because like that video took me 3 days. I think I wrote on one of my videos the other day that was like 30 seconds long, and I'm like, it took me 3 days to
yeah.
do this video.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Like
it's so
piece
funny,
by piece.
right? You're thinking I have to wear the same outfit, or unless it's like
Yeah, right.
The
but
content. Yeah.
I gotta look like it was just the same day. No, it's a lot of work. It's tiring, but you know what I do? When I don't feel good, I don't go on TikTok. I give myself some grace. It's okay. I
Yeah.
don't feel good today, because I want my community to know that you don't always have to be in front of a camera if you don't feel good.
Yeah.
You don't,
That's right.
your family
That's right.
waits for you. We'll be here if you need to take some time to heal.
Yeah.
Because healing's the hardest part. Like it takes me 3 weeks to recover from a dance, if not longer now.
I believe that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
hard for people to understand too.
Yeah.
Like can you talk? I know we are gonna do a part two.
Part two, yeah.
Everybody, I can see the comments.
Yeah,
saying
because people
we
are
have to talk about
asking.
more.
Yeah, people want more of you. So yeah, we decided before we even started the show, we were like, we will be going live on TikTok at some point. We will promote that. So make sure everybody that you are following Bexonic and
her handle is right under her name. When it comes back up, you'll see it.
right.
On TikTok.
Oh,
So
yeah.
make sure you follow her and then follow Cosmos
Yes.
on all of our socials, especially TikTok. And we will be going live with her to do a part 2. So everybody's getting what they want.
Yep. And just so everybody knows, I am probably one of the only creators that have over 100,000 that answers every single message I get.
That's amazing.
Every single message I will get.
She answered mine. I thought it was special. Now I know.
We are so glad that you did. Thank you, Bex. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't know what people are saying because I can't see it, but everybody just know that it's always going to be okay. Don't lose hope.
It's gonna be okay.
And don't let other people's perception of you become your reality. Never let anybody's perception of you. So don't be what they want.
And that's a TikTok. That's a TikTok. Emma, make sure you don't let anyone's
perception.
Don't let anyone's perception
be your reality.
Let's have her say it again. Here, I think you may now say it again, Bex.
Okay, don't let other people's perceptions of you become your reality. You just don't want it. You don't want to be what they think you are. You know, people see me. Oh, they think I'm weak, or well, okay. I mean, you may think that. We could test the theory, because I feel like a lot of these people who are against the chronically ill view us as not of being a burden to the tax system, a burden to the healthcare, a burden to everything. They could not handle this life. They would be the type of people that the minute they got sick, it would be the end all for them. And so, yeah, I'm stronger. I'm stronger than you. I am. Any of us all are.
Own it. I love that.
I love it. I don't see, there's no other better way to end part 1 here. We're going to go out. That's a mic drop. That is a mic drop moment.
It was perfect.
Love it.
I do want to say that I know that you wanted to focus on the marginalized as well within the disability community, so we can make sure that we start with that.
If any I can find some really good marginalized creators, that would be great to have, that you guys can interview and stuff like that, because there's creators on here that are just
send anybody our way.
Yeah, they blow my mind, and everybody deserves to have their story told and never be afraid.
I'm so happy you came on.
I'm glad you guys asked me. I'm so thankful, and I'm getting over my nerves now.
Yeah, I mean, you could have your own show and just do this. She was telling us, she was telling us how nervous she is, and look at her. She's just totally confident and cool and comfortable, and you're amazing. Everybody's falling in love with you.
Awesome.
I think it's because I have ADHD brain, and I mean, like, literally, there'll be times when I will be mid-conversation and be like, where was I?
Lose your thought. Yeah, I think that can happen to all of us.
But I think, mental health and all those, part 2, we'll talk about a lot of these things. Mental health is probably one of the big ones. And don't forget, guys, July 1st is Disability Pride Month, and happy Pride Month to all of the LGBTQ community, including my daughter.
All right.
Mom loves you. Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm a proud mama. I am a proud mom. And
that is fantastic.
Be proud and tell it of all my they're all my kids.
You're an amazing mother, and you're an amazing advocate, and
you're
an amazing talk show guest, and everything.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I love you guys.
Love you so much, and we will be back, and we will schedule. So what we're going to do, everybody, we don't have the date right now, but we're going to schedule a part 2 on TikTok. So make sure you're following our socials, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Bex, for being here. And stay in touch with Bex on her TikTok. Follow her and comment. She replies to every comment. So get on there. And thank you, for finding Bex and for hosting and everything. You're wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much, everybody. And good evening, wherever you are.